Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, another day of me waving my arms in the air. Thumbs up for that. It is a good thing. It is Saturday as I'm recording this. It is late. It's almost 8 a.m. I've been getting later and later over this past, a couple weeks, months. Life is life. Hopefully things are going well for you. Hokey smokes, I slept mostly and was doing okay, and that's a good thing. Thumbs up for that. I've been also doing some stuff. I talked about the D100 dungeon and how I'd like to get that. I mean, I never will be able to. I can't afford it because I can't afford to even survive now, so how can I afford to do that? But I have been watching a lot of videos on it, and it's really, really cool just to watch people talk about this stuff, this old school sort of resurgence. Very, very cool. It is a definite thumbs up. First, though, of course, gotta front load the video, so if you like what you're seeing here, if you could hit the like button, that would be awesome. And also, if you could interact with the YouTube algorithms and subscribe to the channel, that would be cool. Very appreciated as well. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These beautiful and awesome people are literally helping to keep me alive. And my disability goes 99% to paying for rent, leaving me so little to even survive on. Without these people, I don't know what I would do. So my thanks to each and every one of them. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And if you could become one of these people, that would be beautiful too. How long I need to keep my hands in the air, I have no idea. So if I kept them up too long, or if the text is still over my face, my apologies. Thumbs up. But there's a lot of people where I sometimes complain where I'm getting, fewer and fewer views all the time. And life is life, I'm not a big channel. But at least I get some, because there's one channel where I don't know what happens with the rest of the things that they might do, because I think they stream on Twitch as well. But their YouTube channel's been going for a time, and except for like 1 or 2 videos, they usually get like 25 views on video. So I can't complain really when I'm getting 100 or 150. It's not as much as I'd gotten in the past when I was like doing reactions and stuff, but I was a broken individual then and I can barely remember any of it. So I'd rather be where I am now than where I was. Thumbs up for that. My bloody dentures. My apologies. I'm having to work real hard just to keep them in place. They want to fall out and be spat out. So, joy, just the upper plate. The one that's like breaking. Joy. The fun of getting older. Yay. But still, I do have some other things that are still on my topics list. Not a whole bunch of stuff that's actually about like life in life, because I still haven't been doing much. I didn't do a ton yesterday. Just some editing and then playing some games, watching a lot of videos, went out on walkies. With it getting dark so early and becoming light so late, I'm starting to get antsy to go out on walkies. My apologies. Getting antsy to go out on walkies right around 4 o'clock because it's getting dark. And I go walkies when it's dark. So when it starts getting dark, my body starts ramping up to go. And that's usually about 3 hours before I go. So it's been fun. Still doing what I can. I'm being as active as I can physically, trying to take care of everything that I can. Trying, executive dysfunction is fun. That's just when you have to do things, but you can't. Or you just, whether or not you have to do it or you're trying to have to do it, is just something you can't do. I have a lot of that, and it's unpleasant. There's a lot more to it, but yay. Still though, life is life, and I have been trying to think and stay creative though. Even though I didn't do a whole ton of thinking yesterday, I did do some and reinforced other things, and my upper lip is just so itchy right now. And since I am no hypervlogger, yay, you gotta see me scratch my nose. Thumbs up for that. But I've been thinking about a lot of things because I like to have things make sense. If they don't make sense, then I'm not going to be able to write about it. And so it has to follow into some fashion that I can follow myself. Now, a lot of things I can't actually follow. The cosmic horror framework, the stuff that's like the inside and outside, that's stuff that by definition I can't understand. I'm not from those places. I am a 3+1 being, and that's just the 3 dimensions plus 1 sense of time, length, width, breadth, and time. We are 3+1 beings. We live in a 3+1 world, universe. We have a 3+1 brain with a 3+1 mind. It's amazing that we're able to bend it and stretch it to be able to conceive of things that aren't 3+1. But I can't think like more than a 3+1 person. Just like when I'm going to be hopefully talking some about the King in Crimson later, it's as much as I try to understand this being, I am not a non-human intelligence. I do not have a human brain. I do not have a non-human brain. I do not have a non-human method of thinking. I can only do approximates, and that's as close as you can get. So you got to try and stretch your mind and think, but really you're wearing blinders even at the best you're doing. So you've got huge blind spots that you don't even know about, but they're there, but you do what you can, because what else can you? Thumbs up for that. But with the whole things having to make sense part, one of the things I was thinking about, because Apple Rock, with all of its resources and such, is pretty progressive industrial-wise. Sure, in the beginning they had to do a lot of burning of things for power, but then there is still a very close for that area geothermal source, and they were able to tap into that. 99% of all the power that is generated and used in Apple Rock is, geothermal. And almost everything runs on that. So the people that come in and start doing the meta-analysis, and this is something that happens over a long stretch as they put things together, why were there even gas lines in Apple Rock? Because the gas lines were put in after the geothermal stuff. And if you're thinking, well, maybe the gas lines are in case, parts of the geothermal stuff fall out, but the parts where the gas lines were not connected in any way that they could pick up any slack if the geothermal part didn't work. So the more that the investigators are trying to put this all together, the more it doesn't make sense. And when you live in an area, things are normalized. You think, well, yeah, there's gas lines, and they still use them because they were put in some time back. So that's normalized. You don't think about it. But they're having to think about it. And as part of it turns out, the gas lines were put in about 100 years back. So no one who's alive now was alive then. But there was there's books. There's a lot of media about this family, the Banneker family. Very eccentric. They had power and money, riches, even more so than around them. And they had a mansion. The larger splits, families everywhere, controlled businesses. And the eldest, the patriarch and the matriarch, started getting really kind of weird, and things started getting weird with them, and their families had to start coming home to take care of more of the family stuff. And the more that they did that, the more everyone started acting weird and pulling back in, until the whole Banneker family had just sort of become that eccentric rich family up on the hill that doesn't come out much anymore. But before they became that insular and bizarre, they had paranoid thoughts and put in a whole bunch of gas lines. And when they investigate, of course, you find out that all these gas lines are connecting all the Banneker properties. And all the Banneker properties were put in places such that 100 and some odd years later, they were perfect places to be bombs and take out all of these things that would have helped the people of Apple Rock when the Apple Rock kaiju rampaged and just ate half the city. So was this stuff being set up even 100 years before? The investigators, they do an exhumation on the bodies of some of the older people to find out, what can you find out? Did they do this from poisoning? Was there something genetic? What was happening to help them try and figure things out? But when they open up the coffins, they're just beds of weird fungus that they don't recognize. Now, normally when a body dries out, over time, bury them, you dry out, and then you get a light covering of mold. You don't become a bed for some strange fungal mass that's almost erupting out of the coffin when you open it. So they decontaminate that area, and they are very, very careful. They start to think about this whole mansion now. When the Banneker family died out, they died out. But before they did that, they created a foundation that still exists. Far less money than when it started, far less power than when it started. They mostly do small arts things, and the bulk of their money is just to pay the people on the board of the foundation and to keep the Banneker mansion locked up and closed. Because after the last of the Bannekers died there, in the foundation, according to the rules, they just had to lock the whole place up. And so for the last 100 years, that place has just been sitting there. Just abandoned, just empty. It's not in a real good place of town. Nobody really needs to go there, so there's been no real need to tear it down. So it's just becoming overgrown. And when they go in to investigate that, well, the basement's filled with this weird fungal mass with spores. So something got into this family, and it affected their minds. It didn't control them, apparently, but they became paranoid enough to do all this stuff that over 100 years later paid off when the whole city went dark. So there's a lot to this, and it's heavy duty stuff that way. There's a lot more I still need to learn. And so I'm still investigating that. And I don't understand a whole bunch of non-human stuff because I'm not non-human, but the King in Crimson, I've been doing a lot of thinking about them since they are non-human. They are a very powerful non-human being. But the thing is, yes, their kingdom and what they're doing with their kingdom benefits the people around them and is benefiting everyone. And they're being raised up from, savagery, ignorance, and all that, being given new, better lives. Every generation is a little bit better than the one that came before it. And it's the King in Crimson that's in charge of that. But the thing is, of course, the King in Crimson isn't doing it for the people. That's incidental. Even though they do feel an honest and deep empathy and affection for humanity, there's nothing disingenuous about any of the way they feel. They are deeply ethical and deeply moral, and they're pursuing their goals with that zeal of someone who believes in what they believe. But it's for their goals, their needs, their wants. If it was another thing where, say, there were furnaces and they were cleansing the land, they would still approach it with the same zeal because it's for them, not for the people going into the ovens. But again, there is nothing disingenuous about what they feel and how they act. It is just that in this particular place, in this particular time, in this variant of a universe with that variant of an individual performing that variant of an action, their actions, what pleases them, is what makes others happy as well. They are paid in gratitude. They are paid in watching the lives of everyone go up. They feel a deep empathy and affection toward all humanity, their citizens in particular, and there's nothing disingenuous about it. But it's all for their purposes. The fact that it does help everyone else is just incidental. perfect and wonderful, but still, they're a very nice individual, deeply ethical, deeply moral. And again, tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be able to think about some of these things out loud on the blog. Yay. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments. It's greater than 0, so thank you, each and every one of you. Whoever leaves a comment, you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text for a short time. But thumbs up and thank you. And if I mispronounce or use the name, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language with my depression, fibromyalgia, fog, and so much more, oy vey. But still, thank you. Greatly appreciated. We have JBX Gundam. Well, thank you. I mean, it's appreciated. Those milk steak. Heck of a steak. Thumbs up and thank you. Wumbo. All good ideas. Thank you very much. Craig YEC. Thumbs up and thank you. Yuki likes hot potatoes. Good to see you in the comments. Pancake Cookie. Thumbs up and thank you again. Mountain. And thank you very much, because that's a lot to say otherwise. Thank you. And it's good to see you. Then we have Larry from Space, who is also good to see in the comments. Ooh, and it's starting to snow. Hokey smokes. And I actually got a comment from a person that made a Devault, who did the remix on a video that I did a reaction to. So thumbs up. And ow. My finger sticks and it hurts, and then I had to belch before I could talk about it. Then there's Vision94_, greatly appreciated. Angle, ANGOL, and then ANO, thumbs up, thank you. Then there's Ben B, greatly appreciated, and you got that right. Sophia Herrera, thumbs up, and I hope things go better, and I hope anything helps. That sounds horrible, but thank you. I'm a moron sometimes. Zach Campbell, greatly appreciated, and thank you, each and every one of you. As stated, you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, and even when I mess up with my comments and feel that I'm reacting in a horrible fashion like I've just done, it is appreciated, each and every one of you. Now, I don't know what device you're watching this on. Don't know what device you're watching it on, but inside the video description for the video, which makes sense, I suppose, there are links to all my channels. If you could check them out, that would be cool. Also, there are links to things like my Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and of course, if you could become one of these beautiful and awesome people that are helping to keep me alive, that would, boy, oh boy, that would literally be a very beautiful and wonderful thing. Thank you very, very much, each and every one of you. It is a good thing, and it is, as stated, greatly appreciated. My dentures are just falling out, and it is very distracting. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link if you could check that out. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money, I do have an Amazon wishlist link with things like cat food and hamster bedding. So if you could check that out, that would be awesome. Now, of course, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot, or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence, a definite thumbs up, and of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be appreciated too. Definitely a thumbs up. And remember, please, it's use it or lose it. Don't just be creative. Try to keep learning too. All of that is very important. Seek positivity. I was a negative person for far too many years, and it only hurts yourself and those around you. And of course, balance in all things. Moderation is key. Thumbs up for that. And with the bugs still raging, please, if you don't have to go out amongst others, please don't. If you do, wear a mask, maintain your social distancing, wash your hands often, try not to touch your face, get the jab. Get a booster if it's available for you. We can get through this. Thumbs up for that. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And I did say that I was going to wave my hands in the air at you this entire time, didn't I?